It has been a long time since my last video. Currently, I've been doing TAFE, and something sort of perked my interest when I was at the supermarket recently. This has to do with my TAFE course, but not anything that helps the course itself. I'm doing a sewing course. And down where I am, we've got mostly Woolworths and Coles is where you get your food from. And there's a couple of other places, but they had a bunch of this crap in there. And I use that term purposely because honestly, when I had a look at these, I'm thinking, what the bloody hell? So, I'm going to go through and try to explain what I see here, how bad I think it is, if I think any of it's good. And I haven't actually opened these yet, so get to do it in front of all you. How bad is this? So, with the two primary supermarkets, they basically had the exact same brand, and mostly they were different. I think the only one duplicate one they had was this one. So I didn't buy two, I just bought one. But basically these both came from major supermarket chains. What I'll try to also do is build up my own little supply to show what I think should be in the actual sewing kit versus what we actually have here. Now to start off with, before I go any further, I'm going to point out something on the back here. Lithium impact. No. What's your impact on the fashion sustainability? Now there's a thing, and it's referred to in this as fast fashion. To explain that, I can do it quickly. No, not Coles in Australia. So you've got Target in Australia, you have Big W, you have Rivers, you have, at least in my area, Harris Scarf, H&M is a perfect example. These places mostly sell on fast fashion. Any place, in any major retailer you go into where they've got multiple locations, you can go in there, you can buy the same shirt for, say, a season. Next season they got something else out. That's fast fashion. Usually cheaper materials are used compared to what's available, and that's not just buying in bulk. It's usually synthetic material. I mean, occasionally, yes, you'll find things like cotton and other natural fibers, but usually it's just basically plastic. Not good for the environment, since a lot of those clothes that either don't get used for very long or they break down and people just throw them out. And when I say break down, like the seams come under, fabric starts to fray and fall apart. I've tried buying those sort of clothes before and it's just caused problems. So this is what it means by fast fashion. Now that does have a problem in the environment, but how to put it? You can use them for rags, for recycling, but generally these just get thrown out to the dump. And like with any other plastic material, they take a very long time to break down. So I'm assuming somebody decided to make these, and I really hope this wasn't an Australian, because if it was, yikes. And all right, let's just try to get started, shall we? So let's go with the instant repair kit. Now looking at this, I would assume that you would have enough to, for instance, replace a button. I would assume and like to guess that you could also fix a seam. I would assume and also guess that you could patch like a small hole, say for instance that formed in a shirt or a pair of pants. You would have to either be in a room where you can take your pants off or take the shirt off or take whatever garment you had on that was beginning to fray or break down. Take it off, mend it, either in the toilet or in a, like I said, private room, or at least somewhere where people aren't going to walk in on you and see you partially naked, which you don't want. Unless, of course, you're wearing a dress or like a pair of overalls or something. It just gets awkward. Now, the premise for that, and what I would believe to be vitally important, is not requiring any additional tools other than what is supplied here. I don't think that's going to happen somehow. Why? Just from looking at it. So let's get this open and take a look inside. And just as I feared. Alright, so we've got a flimsy case which would most likely break in someone's pocket. Not positive. What the hell is that? That is just a sticker. That feels like a plastic. Now, the big issue I've got here is that there's no instruction booklet. There's nothing to at least demonstrate basic sewing or what these parts are. Oh, okay. So this is what's referred to as hook and loop. Now everyone's going to want to be calling it Velcro. However, non-branded Velcro or Velcro made so by other companies called hook and loop. So these are attachment dots. These wouldn't really stick so well to clothing. You would have to sew them in. So having the needles and this thread, good idea. As for this sticker though, I can't comprehend what that would be used for. Now this is webbing, I believe that's the term used. Now this is where I've got a problem. See, you would iron this to fabric to keep it from like moving around so much. So for instance, like if you've got a knitted jumper, it easily flaps about. It doesn't stay still, it will bend, it will flex. I believe that's what this is for, but yeah, this is the iron-on stuff, so you would require an iron to use this. Why it would contain this, I don't know. And this is the part that irritates me. These, I can't understand why, to be honest. I really can't. Safety pins, yes, a good additive. So that's good. Couple of buttons. I would hope not. That someone would need these as, you know, quickly sewing on a button that fell off. I would hope the person had recovered the replacement one. But this wouldn't help if the button's smaller or significantly bigger. So these are a little bit of a waste. The thread, however, I say I like this one. I like this part of the collection, or this little box. These needles, I believe, are referred to as easy to thread, since you just simply pull the thread through, you know, the needle. But I don't see anywhere here where you can slot the needle in and have it to, you know, something to work on. I don't see any pins in this which would help, you know, hold. I mean, this would hold fabric together after you pressed it or ironed it. But without access to an iron, you're screwed. The hook and this plastic, I cannot. I mean, this could maybe be used to hold some fabric together, but this, I can't understand this. I just can't. I'm sorry, I can't. So I'm going to take these two out. I'm going to take out the buttons, and I'm going to put those two in there. So that basically that's what you need. I mean, you'd want a stronger cable. You'd probably want to put a rubber band around this because that's going to easily pop open and flutter around in someone's bag. But you know, for an emergency repair kit, yeah. So the next up is traveling kits. Oh boy. Let's go with the really bad looking one, shall we? Actually, both have sort of like equally disturbing parts to them, but whatever. Let's go with this one first. And even more plastic waste. I mean, just did, yeah. Alright, let's see what we got. Oh no. These are even worse than they look. Holy. Yeah, that's not good. First off, these scissors feel like they're bent. I mean, I could see them being a pair like this, which are designed to like cut thread close to something. But in general, no, I can't. I'm sorry, I can't with those. Traveling sewing kit with a paper measuring tape. You know, I could actually see this being reused for something else, but this is too flimsy. I mean, it could break easily. There's like a... Is it nylon or... There's a... No, fiberglass. And if this was made of fiberglass, yes. This is made of paper, and you know, watch, I'll tear this. Yeah, you just feeling it, you could feel that. This is like newspaper. Do you know how long newspaper lasts after a couple? Just terrible. Just, no. So here we have more options for colored thread. For traveling sewing kit, I would want more. Sorry to say, but I would want more out of that. Now, it doesn't say anything about what kind of thread this is, so I'm going to assume that it's either... Actually, it looks like it might be a blend of both polyester and cotton, but it could just be polyester. Or I can't think of the name now. So, alright. That does not fit me. So, I don't know about anyone else's hands, but this could be a problem for most if the thumb... What you're supposed to do is, instead of pushing your finger on a needle, you push the needle onto here and it gives you extra force. But that doesn't fit me, so that's useless. Useful, but I would much prefer a metal one, which I can see in one of the containers. Now, the little kit of parts. So it looks like we've got some more of those buttons. First off, if you are doing this, you would need to have a table to work at. If you had to do this on a train, say with someone else's shirt, or this could be a problem. I'd expect something more that you could open up. And yes, you can buy those, but this is what's for sale in a local supermarket. Actually, in 2. Now, I'm disappointed that there's less of these than in the, you know, instant repair kit. These, there should be more of. Two pins. 10 of these. See, what you do is you'd put this into the fabric to hold it together. You would need at least, at the bare minimum, 5, but 2? No, sorry, you lost me. Now, these needles look roughly about the same, except the hole's different size, which, I know there's 4 of them. But roughly they look all the same, so there's no, yeah. Alright, that's a bit 50-50. Now this is a needle threader. I believe that's the correct term. What you're supposed to do is push, if you can't thread your sewing thread, then you need to be able to push this through. You can push this through here in the eye of the needle, and that's not fitting. That's not going to go through. Usually you find these on sewing machines, at least that's where I've usually found them. Oh, there we go. So yeah, you can put your thread through that and then pull it through and you've got your needle threaded. So yeah, all 4 of these sewing needles seem to be the same. Alright. Now, same problem as before with the, you know, instant repair kit. As with this traveling sewing kit. Ooh. Pointless. No, I just lost my train of thought. Okay, this is a lot thinner plastic. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting like that paper, no, not paper, like tissue paper type plastic that just breaks apart easily. So this is actually a nice to see. However, still, I would prefer if it had someplace, you know, better. So pick all these up. Now you get 3 buttons in this. Again, I would suggest not. Most garments do have a button or a spare button with them. I would much prefer if the buttons had been left out, which I'm just going to get rid of them, but a good pair of scissors had been included. That's what I would have liked to have seen. Do we have it? No. This, I have to believe, yes, is a good idea. Even though it looks tacky and would probably break easily, it's still, you know, more safety pins. More of the regular pins as well, dressmakers pins, or whatever you want to call them. More of them. And definitely more thread. You know, cut down the amount of thread you have here. And, you know, just more thread. Alright, so that's 2. Now let's check out this other traveling sewing kit. I swear, if you want to piss off a grandmother or someone you know who sews, buy them this. If you want to be in their good graces, don't buy them this. Bleh. Okay. Now, this is petitioned, which is good. I like this. The plastic is also more flexible. I would recommend, however, a rubber band around this or some tape or something to hold it in place. Now the scissors, the way they're held is good. The scissors, on the other hand, yeah, well, let's give that a try. Honestly, it looks like these things would blunt very easily. Now these are uncomfortable to hold, to be honest. These are definitely for someone with really small fingers. And they are not sharp. They are definitely not sharp, and they feel like they're either too tight or... Yeah, I can't say that they're a good idea. So the thumb, this I believe is going to be, yep, same thing, too big. Like I said with the other one, there's not enough thread here. Now if you want multiple colors, yes, good, but I would prefer to have a sewing thread that I could hide. I'd prefer to have a book as well showing how to make, you know, stitches that will last. It looks like we've got the same pack as in here. Yep, so no, we got more. So what do they give you in this traveling sewing kit? Alright, we've got a couple of buttons, 3 buttons again, which I'm going to say no. And they're non-standard. One of these is opaque and the other one's clear, I think. Anyway, doesn't matter. So lucky in this one we get 3 dress pins. I can't think of the name right now, which is very sad. Like I said, 5 at the minimum, not enough. 2 sewing needles. Yeah. I mean, in case if one gets broken or something, or blunt or unusable. Yeah. This again, I'm not going to demonstrate it again, but yes, useful. If not pathetic, because I hate these bloody ones, they suck. Can't get enough of those damn pins. Safety pins. Yeah, these will work to hold up a lot quicker than actually sewing. And that's only if you can actually hold out to get to somewhere else. I mean, you know, yeah. Again, there's no instructions with this, or at least like tips on different types of sewing. I'm going to say no to this one. You know what, stuff it, I'll just put it back in. I, for the life of me, can't comprehend why this has a measuring tape. For a sewing kit, yes, if you've got time to sit down and spread something out and do some work, yes, I could see this. For what this kit is, I'm going to say no. Now this is far superior compared to the previous one, as it feels and looks more like a standard measuring tape. The sheath for it to hold it in place is cardboard. Won't last as long, but better for the environment if you really want to go down that path, but that's just stupid. Sorry, but measuring tape in this, while I will leave it, it's pointless. So 2 for 2. You need a proper pair of scissors. I mean, look, this is a decent pair of scissors. Now that curved bit has thrown me a couple of times, but you know, this is a real pair of scissors. I think these were like 20 bucks on the Friskus, so you know, you can buy decent pairs of small scissors for sewing. This is a sewing bag kit. Okay, now we get into the sort of home sewing stuff, and I'll actually try to keep this intact. So security feature, it's designed to stop you from stealing stuff from it, but unfortunately, as you can see, it easily pucks open, and someone did at the store. Well, at least another box, so, well, not this one, but that is type. Alright. Okay, I like these a lot better. I really do. This is more what I'd call an instant repair kit. Now there is stuff in here I'm going to nitpick and say, no, should not be here. But still. Ooh, that looks like a little bit of rust. Could use it being a little bit bigger, but I don't know about women's fingers because, well, I'm a dude, so, you know. I like the fact this is metal. I'd feel much more comfortable using it. This is far better. See, the previous ones, we either had like this bit of card or, you know, these. This holds a decent amount of thread. I mean, if you had to do some serious sewing on an emergency repair, yes. As for like a proper sort of sewing kit, no. Still, I like it. Now, this is a little more interesting. Let's see what's included in here. Now we have these hooks. I imagine, I have seen these on bras before, but outside of that, no. So yes. Safety pins, definitely yes. The 2 sizes are good. Oh no, there's 2 sizes. Another one of these bloody things. Yes. Now these buttons. Personally, I'd say no. I'd say no to these. I just say no. Now these metal studs, these are going to be easy to sew on in the event that you needed to. But I have to admit, I can't see this being a proper sewing kit, more of a travel one. Still, we fall under the same issue of this does not have instructions on, you know, basic stitches for people who might not be as versed with sewing. I can't see these hooks being like a permanent stay, and some of them appear to be rusted. These, yes. So I'm just going to kick those off. Now I do imagine that someone, if this video had like a couple million views, there would definitely be people who say, oh yes, but no, there was a situation where I needed. Still, for this, I'd say just, no, not for the sewing kit. Now this I like. So what you can do is you can take your needle and you can poke it in here and it's not going to flare around, you'll be able to see it. You're less likely to prick yourself. Good time saver. Again, sorry, but this requires pressing. I can't. I just can't. Oh, as for the instruction booklet, yeah, it's a sustainable thing. Blah. Buying this isn't sustainable. This is more like it. See, I definitely could see this as in an emergency travel kit. I mean, the pins are obviously maybe like 4 times more than what would be necessary when assembling something or trying to fix something. As for assembly, depends on how big the garment is or whatever you're working on, but that's good to see. But this is a sewing kit, not a portable one. This, I can't understand elastic being in here. I'm sorry, I can't. Now, this could possibly used for making one of the masks, but as for being in here, no. Tape measure, measuring tape, whatever you want to call it. This looks remarkable. No, this is different than the other one. Still crappy cardboard to keep it together. I'd have to say yes, but I wouldn't use this as a sewing kit. I still will leave because it's actually a decent-ish type tape measure. An unpicker. This would be essential. I would hope to have one with a longer sort of shaft on it, better handle, but as it is, yes, that would definitely be useful. Either travel sewing or at home. If you were using this for more regular sewing, you'd want one with a much longer handle. Otherwise, you'll get cramps. This, I would say, would be more suited as a traveling sewing kit if you left this out. Now, oh, I didn't show these. So these are assorted needles. I don't like this setup. I've had one of these before, and they can turn to a point where all the needles will just fall out, or a part of them will fall out. The fact that you've got an assortment of sizes is good. That needle threader would be useful here as well, but for this, I don't think you'd need it. I honestly don't. Maybe an assortment of maybe 5 or 6 different sizes, yes, but as it is, no. So I'm going to close that one up. So that's just a sewing bag kit, and there's 40 pieces. Slimmed it down a little. Okay. This SLB. Anyway. Oh, forgot the scissors. Now that is better. Although one of these bags had already been opened, so just a little bit of force. But yeah, good scissors. Well, better scissors than, well, that. Ooh, what do we got in here? So, assortment of sewing thread. Yes, very good. Looks like a larger disc of needles. Although that does not look healthy. Again, I don't like this. I'd much prefer a little foldable bit of cardboard with maybe a plastic sheet or paper, like thick cardboard or something where your needles are held in place. But I don't like that. Now these scissors are, they're like your standard paper scissors. Yes, they will cut fabric. So I've got some ooh. See if I can cut straight. Okay, so out of the box these are nice, but these will get blunt after a while. So I do like these scissors. They are crap, but in a pinch they are useful. For cutting thread though, no. I would definitely recommend something smaller. So in here, what do we got? More buttons, more of the same. Yep. Sorry, but you need to have a proper collection of buttons. I can't. 40 piece. Now this looks like a wool needle. And I can't understand there's no like additional wool stuff. So I can't understand that one. In fact, I'm just going to put it in the trash pile. Your unpicker again, same sort of deal. I would want a longer handle on it. Oh, this is even worse than I was expecting. Oi, that is tight. Alright, so I haven't really used much of one of these, but the course I'm in suggested that I get a tracing wheel, which is what this is. Does it actually say it on there? Oh, thimble. I don't stitch maker. So I know this is a tracing wheel. And you need to have material. Hang on. So if I take this calico here and... Alright, so that does leave a very faint dotted line, but you can't see it. So what would usually happen is that you'd have like transfer paper, and you have a pattern on top, and you just simply slide this over. But to start off with, there is too much stress here. It's really tight. It doesn't allow the wheel to freely move, and you have to give it a bit of force, which would break the paper. So not a good idea. And in that, this is what should be in the kit. This is called an awl. Basically, it's a handle with a pointy stick. That's it. I've seen this used with industrial sewing or with home sewing to just neatly get fabric into the right hole. You can punch holes through things. You can punch holes through fabric to like make a mark for something. It doesn't have to be that big. It can always be like a little tiny hole. Or you can make like a huge, giant, sort of big push. And this is something that you should have in a sewing kit, even if you don't know how to use it. At times, it can be good to. It's helpful to manipulate fabric with. I'll say that much. Why it's not in here and why we had this stupid tracing wheel. Same thing, measuring tape. If you're making something, or if you need to take notes and you need to get proper measurements for something, yes, but for this, sorry, just no. Now, this is a plastic one. Ooh. Yeah, that's weird. The handle's better for a needle threader, but that bit of metal is just, yeah. And we've got a metal thimble again. Too small. Now we've got something interesting. We've got a dressmaking pencil. It's effectively easy. You usually chalk or another substance or material that's easy to attach to fabric. Now what you do normally, I have something I can trace on with. That's terrible. Yeah, this feels like it's just a regular color pencil. I'm sorry. I mean, yeah, okay, it leaves a mark, but that's terrible. I'm gonna say no. Alright, I'm gonna put everything back in here. It's not going in. That's better. Alright. So these kits are there. The wasted junk. Now I really should have taken out some of the other stuff from the last one, but you know, I kind of got lazy. So tell you what, let's do something fun and take what we have here and make an emergency sewing kit. Let's make something that's actually usable. Oh, that's not gonna work for anything. All right, let's try this one. It's a bit thicker. Didn't take much pressure, but I'm not happy with it. So first off, for an emergency sewing kit, we're gonna say we've got a backpack, so we've got a bit of space, so I'm gonna go with this for a storage container. Now the whole point of the kit I'm about to make is you're out, something breaks, and you need to fix it. You've got the luxury of having a backpack with you, so you can easily put that in there. You can put this in your backpack and you're fine. So I'm going to take one of these. I'm definitely going to take this assortment. I'm not going to put this in there. Now I will, however, take this assortment of stuff, empty it out. I'll take a couple of safety pins. Take a couple more from... Actually, that's enough safety pins. I'll definitely keep that thimble. No, I won't include that. I will, however, take these needles because of the... Actually, no, I won't. I'll do something else with that. So even though I don't like it, more preferable. So I'll put 3 sewing needles in here. Extra one of those. Now I would use something to hold that in place. Actually, empty that out. Will that actually fit in there? That's a good question. No, I would have to... Well, this one's better condition. Yeah, I'd definitely do that. That's far better. So for an emergency sewing kit, travel sewing kit, sorry, this is what I'd use. So inside you've got a selection of sewing thread, you've got pins in the event you need to hold it, you've got a decent pair of scissors that are small enough to use on thread, and this could cut fabric. I'll show you with some calico. Really, if you were using this to cut fabric, you'd only need to cut off a small amount, hopefully. Yeah, definitely not these. That's ridiculous. Thimble. Yeah, this is what I'd have in a basic sewing kit. This is what you'd have. Ooh, sorry, and I'll include this. What am I doing? I'll include that. So that's great for an emergency sewing kit. Definitely. I wouldn't include these. Yes, they're a good pair of scissors, but still, just no. Now let's build an emergency sewing kit. One that you would use, you could have in your pocket if you had pockets, and hopefully your garment, your clothing would allow you to, you know, have a pocket. Although it'd have to be a deep pocket for this because, you know, problems. So I would definitely only have those 2 needles, as they would make life a lot easier for you. I would definitely keep these. Now you can use your teeth to break these, but you would need some kind of pair of scissors. So while I hate to, I'm going to have to include that in the set, even though it doesn't fit. So you'd have to use like a larger container for that. Now the next thing I would do is I would also include some of these to make it a bit easier. Alright, so there's 4 of the red, I'll put 4 golding. Oh wow, these feel terrible. There. So you got your pins, you got your safety pins, you've got your thread. Now this is what I'd call an emergency sewing kit, along with the scissors. So a rubber band or a ribbon or something tied around here, this in your pocket, or your if you're a woman, a purse or something, or a small bag. That's definitely what I'd call an emergency sewing kit. This is what I'd call a travel sewing kit, just to do some basic stuff. So yeah, that's what I would do. The rest of this stuff, it's honestly just a waste. I mean, there is so much crap here. It's an entire what? Man, did I waste my money? I think I spent like 20 bucks on all of this. I mean, yeah, labeled dressmaking pencil, that is definitely not a dressmaking pencil. Do I have any colored paper? No, I've got no colored paper. I can't use that. Oh, hang on. I have some gold fabric. Yeah, that's not good. Okay, so this rant's finally over. I can say I'm shocked. Now, this is a total mess, so it's going to be a complete pain in the butt to clean up. But I've definitely got stuff I'm going to either throw away, like this. This is psychotic. What idiot made the decision to put this crappy piece of paper in here as a... This is just wrong. Yep, that's it. You got something at least useful, but had to buy like $20 worth of crap to just throw all together. You notice how I don't use any buttons? Anyway, I'm going to end this video here. I'm going to say yibbity yibba.